Hello and welcome to another episode of Texas River Legends. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to make an easy, simple bank fishing rod holder that works for carp and catfish and whatever else you want to catch. So let's do it. Alright, so to make this bank fishing rod holder, you need a very few simple things. You need some PVC pipe, this is 1 1/4 inch, and it just about fits most all rods. And you're going to need a hacksaw, and that's literally all. So let's jump right into it. Right, so the nice thing about this build is it doesn't require measurements, it doesn't require any of that sort of thing. Simply measure about how much you think you're going to want based on, how far into the mud or sand or whatever you're going to be, this got holes in it. Somebody's drilling random holes. Strange. Anyway, well, let's use this in. But basically, you're just going to want to kind of measure. I wanted it to go in about this far in the mud, so I'm going to about double that length, so my rod has enough length to not fall out. So yeah, all you're going to do is cut it off, but you're going to cut it off at an angle with the hacksaw. Now what this angle is going to do is when you cut it off like this at an angle, it's actually going to cause it to have sort of a spiked end that you can stick down into the mud, sand, or grass. All I'm going to do is cut it at a fairly steep angle. And if you have a sharper hacksaw, this will go a lot quicker. So as you can see, all I'm doing is cutting this off at an angle. What that's going to do when I cut it all the way off is cause a steep angle, which results in a point that allows you to kind of work it down into the mud and sand a little bit more. So you could even go a little steeper than this, but this is plenty. There. Like I said, not a very hard project, and it doesn't even need to be that pointy. All you're trying to do is give yourself a little bit of an edge when you are driving that down when you're driving that down into the mud. It's not going to go into this because this is like limestone that's pretending to be mud. So, but into actual mud or sand, that works really well. This is kind of the style of rod holder they use around the ocean for a beach, sort of a sand spike, but it works really well for carp fishing, catfish fishing in mud, sand, gravel, where a lot of the coil rod holders don't work. So, so that is our finished bank spike. See how I changed that? Used to be a sand spike, now it's a bank spike. Depending on how long your PVC is, this one I cut right about in half. I've got 2 bank sticks just by making one cut. So yeah, I wound up with 2 rod holders. So even if you only wind up with one, you could cut that one into a point. But that is the finished project, and it is a really good rod holder for bank fishermen. Light, throw it in your bucket, throw it in your backpack. Works like a charm. And I've never had a fish steal these. They're a lot wider than the ones that you buy at Walmart. They just have a little wire or metal spike that goes down. And those, a lot of times in gravel, those will just kind of get pulled over because there's not much to stop them. And these are much better for gravel and mud because they're wider, so they grip better and they don't just fall over and make you lose your rod. So they're easy, they're cheap. Most people have PVC laying around somewhere, and as long as it's just wide enough to fit the rod, it's really not that hard to make. So there you go. That is a pretty simple little bank spike fishing rod holder, and I don't believe you'll ever lose a rod using these. You can deck them out, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. I've seen people put a cutting board or tackle boxes or just paint them camouflage, do all kinds of stuff to them, but this is the basic design, and really easy, really simple to make, and works like a charm. So there you go, guys. That is a simple, easy, and quick bank fishing rod holder. I've never lost a rod with those. Easy to make, cheap, and effective. So there you go. Get out there and catch some more fish.